Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Successful Woman's Mindset. My name is Galit Ventura-Rozen. I am co-founder of Everyday Woman TV, and I have been a commercial real estate broker for 25 years. One of my favorite things to do is spotlight women all over the world that are sharing their expertise and really are looking to empower women and also some men. So I'm excited today to have Kat with us. Welcome, Kat.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
I love how your background matches your hair. Is that by accident?
Well, the hair came first and the background came
I
second.
love it though. I didn't even notice it when we started talking at the beginning. And for those of you that are watching, that are listening on the podcast, you can go to everydaywoman.tv.com and watch. But I know that sometimes I talk about things that I see. So I'm going to share a little bit about Kat, and then we're going to jump right into her topic, which I want you to stick around. Who doesn't want hustle-free marketing to sell out of their programs? She's going to be sharing with us, you call it the Firework experiences. And it really, when we talked about it at the beginning, it really does match that name. So I'm really looking forward to this topic and all the great value you're going to give everybody today. So let's go ahead and jump in, share a little bit about Kat. Kat Stancik is a marketing strategist who supports expert professional service providers to create firework experiences, there it is again, that attract ideal clients into one place, that spark conversations that lead to more sales. Choose from over a dozen firework experiences to create your own leveraged, unique, and repeatable process to keep your pipeline full and hit your revenue targets predictably without requiring all your time. I'm tongue-tied today. It's so fun. And you know what's the most fun? I don't edit my episodes. They just get me like this. So
Gotta
yeah,
show up for reals.
I was telling Kat before we got started that the weather here is so dry. So sometimes my tongue goes, okay, give me some water. So you'll see me drinking a lot of water. I love how you took your branding Firework and you included these specific words in your bio. And I just want to comment on that because it's such an important part of success when it comes to really explaining and putting out there what you do. So I know we're not talking about that, but I really need to pinpoint that for any of you entrepreneurs that are watching and listening, that you really want to be able to do what Kat did, because that's just brilliant. I love it, love it. All right, let's get started. Kat, take us through this journey. Take us through these firework experiences and how the heck we can get some hustle-free marketing, because as a business coach, that's the number one thing that my clients hate, aside from sales. And we're talking about that too.
Well, so all of us didn't really get into business to be experts in sales and marketing. I actually it was an accidental journey for myself. So I was a corporate consultant, highfalutin, pay and gigs and billions of dollars in projects and hundreds of people that I'm managing, and realized, oh my God, this is somebody else's dream. So went and got my life coaching certification because that was going to be the next biggest thing. And as I was growing and scaling my business, people kept asking me how I was doing it. So I don't consider myself this natural born salesperson, but the reality is every one of us is. Every one of us is constantly selling. It's just that we don't realize that we're doing it, which is why it's so powerful.
Until we realize that we're doing it. Do you know, Kat, I love that. For a second, I have to stop there. We don't realize that we're doing it. And the first thing that came to me was until we think we're doing it on purpose.
Yep.
And I love that you said that because it's so true. When you came on before we started the interview, you were so passionate about what you would do. And you were talking about people loving what they do, because I talked about our hosts on our TV channel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so true. And I can actually say I'm one of those people.
Yep.
Because going from selling hundreds of millions of dollars of commercial real estate with my eyes closed to going to online sales where I'm selling my services or my expertise was terrifying for me. Terrifying.
It's pretty triggering for people to go from, I mean, you see it a lot when people do this corporate kind of to entrepreneurship, transition, if you will. And we kind of talked about that leap of faith kind of bit and how that's not actually really true. But women especially, I don't know, maybe I'm biased because I'm one, but we tend to, when we make these big transitions, we just take this big eraser and we erase all of our credibility, all of our expertise, everything that we've ever achieved. And because this is something that feels new, we come at it from a new feeling, and it's not. Everything is translatable, meaning a sales call is a client meeting, right? So everything we've experienced, we've already have expertise in. It's just whether or not we're willing to claim it. And so part of that is figuring out, where do we get activated by this sleaze and this slimy and, yuck approach, right?
Okay.
So I call that person Pitchy Pete. Now we meet Pitchy Pete all the time, right? Okay. Sliding into your DMs, wherever platform you are, and basically giving you PTCD, which is post-traumatic connection disorder. You know exactly what's going to happen after you accept that connection request.
Post-traumatic connection disorder.
Yep.
I like that. I like that you brought that up, because it's true. Most people never send that first message or never make that first connection because they know they've already told themselves they're getting rejected.
Yep.
They've already told themselves they're going to get a no. So that's
a really good reason. Do you want to know why?
Go ahead.
So for the most part, 3% of people are ready to buy. And that's great. And that's what happens is most people are like, get to the 3, get to the 3, get to the 3. What people don't look at is the fact that 97% of people are going to tell you no. It doesn't matter how you talk about what you do or how your marketing is. They're going to tell you no because of something in their life, nothing to do with you. It's why sales isn't personal. When someone says no, it's not personal. When someone says yes, it's not personal. That person is saying no to the opportunity and they're saying yes to themselves.
Yes.
Right. So we take ourselves out of that aspect of the business. There's a lot of places you belong in the business, but that's one place where you don't really need to be, hyperactive, because it's the place where we all get triggered. Yeah. So when I was looking at how I was doing these things, I was looking at how I wasn't selling because of this 97%, right? Okay. 97% of the time I was going to go out there and someone was going to tell me no. Now, we can go into childhood trauma and triggers and all this other stuff another time. But basically, it was activating that not enoughness or too muchness that we're all told and always in the wrong situation. So how do you overcome that insurmountable obstacle of 97% of people that are going to tell you no? Well, you build community. You build value. So one of my philosophies is around the more value that you drive, the more revenue that you'll make.
Okay. The more value that you drive, the more revenue that you'll make. 100% agree.
Right. But we're dealing with bro marketers out there. So bro marketers are teaching you these, it's these silver tongue snakes, these one call theory closers, all that other stuff.
You mean the pushy people?
Yeah. This glorified way of selling. Yeah. This is the AK-47 stack of cash stripper rifle to light your cigar, Lambo in the background, and the rented out mansion, right? Like that.
Oh my lifestyle. God, so true. And I'm going to throw in, because of my age, the 80s car salesman.
Yep. Furniture salesman, all of that, right? It's just this.
Because of my age, those movies in the 80s, they were always, and I have this one post I do about sales all the time to give value that says that sell without sounding salesy, right? Yeah. But it's the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the furniture and car salesman is a great example as well, because that's what it also feels like for a lot of people, because they're chasing people across the internet. From one platform to the other, constantly like lurking behind a post. Like, are you ready now? Are you ready now? Are you ready now? It's this creepy feeling. And that doesn't give people a resounding yes opportunity. What I mean is people who say yes in a resounding way, that hell's yes, I want this. Okay. Those are the clients that are going to do the work. They're going to get the best results. Agreed. If you have a resentful yes, that person that you've had to drag across the finish line, right? Those people are going to ask for refunds.
No. High maintenance.
Right. Exactly. Big red flags. So really it's about how do we build a process that doesn't require all this hustle. I have graduated from the University of Hustle. I have done that in my business, and no, thank you. So part of it is how do we figure out a way to still show up in our power, still drive value, and attract the right people? I know we talked about this before we even hit the record button, but we know that when we talk to the right person, that sale is always easier. It's when we're talking to too many of the wrong people that we're getting that 97%. The
All right.
no.
So wait. How do we talk to the right people?
So it's really easy. So one of the things is you've got to really, and I know I'm going to get this audible eye roll and like universal slap across the face. You really have to understand your qualifiers. So this is knowing your ideal client, but you have to understand how your ideal client behaves
Okay.
and how they show up in their life and in the world. And so part
Now,
of it
why
is
do you think you'll get the eye rollers for that? Because I agree.
yeah, no, but it's more of like, oh my God, I have to go back to the ideal client avatar again kind of thing.
Oh, because that's what everybody says. But
Right.
do you know what, Kat? I'm going to go there with you for a minute because I agree with you. And those that are rolling their eyes, I'm going to say, look, you should be doing that multiple times a year.
Yeah.
Because your business is constantly changing, your expertise is constantly changing, and your avatar might be constantly changing. So
It might be about it. Every time
okay.
you work with a client, you
Yes.
understand what you like more and what you like less about, not necessarily that person as a human, but in terms of what you work best with. And it's not about them in terms of their heartbeat and all that. It's about who will get a better result from working with you. And when we have that really dialed in, then we can find those people in large quantities. That's the other thing is like, there's not a finite number of people who will ever say yes to you. There's an infinite supply. It's just whether or not you're releasing the abundance from within you and also allowing it to come in.
Perfect.
So other mindset thing, right? That we can dive into another
it's
time.
Totally mindset.
Yeah.
A lot of sales, a lot of closing, a lot of selling when it's related to something that you do is mindset, because if we just started a mastermind I mentioned earlier with these women that are just doing so wonderful, but they're ready to go to that higher level and they're charging so little. And that's because they don't understand their value, or they don't think someone's going to pay them, and we're home. What are you doing? No. So a lot of this is related to that. So tell us, I've got it here. So these firework experiences.
Yeah.
What are we doing here to make it hustle free?
Right. So here's some stuff that we all need to know. One, there aren't that many unique marketing approaches and strategies out there.
That's true.
So there's variations that make something more popular or more applicable based off of where we are in terms of time and space.
Right.
But there's really just a handful. So right now I have 16. I'm constantly looking and assessing different strategies to see whether they already fit in a category. And I could take this category and probably sum them up to like 4 or 5 essentially. But there's slight nuances that make them a little bit different from something else than you've experienced out there. Now, the problem is that most of us are taking and picking a strategy and forcing it to work. And then we go and push and hustle so hard that we don't want to do it again. I mean, think of the 5-day challenge. How many of us have done that? And then we never did it again because it was so much effort, so much time, so much energy with very little results as a consequence of having implemented it.
Right.
So what we want to do is completely throw that approach away, which is what everybody talks about. And instead, start with the most important thing in your business, which is you. What are your marketing and sales strengths? What do you enjoy doing? Again, it's this philosophy around you will do the work that you enjoy doing.
Okay,
Super
so
scientific.
Give me an example.
So let's say you're someone who loves to talk and engage, right? Like,
so you just love people.
Right. You love people.
Okay.
Now there's another piece, because it's great to know your strengths, but what if you leverage a strategy that your people aren't interested in?
Okay.
You may have loved putting on a 5-day challenge, but your ideal client, they don't have time for that.
They don't want to deal with it.
So if you're leveraging a 5-day challenge and you're trying to attract corporate CEOs, it doesn't matter how great the strategy is, how great your content is. They don't want that.
True.
And so that's a forced strategy and it's not going to work. So we look at those two things. One, your strengths on one side, think of a pillar. On the other side, there's the other pillar, which is your ideal client's focus, their interest, how do they consume information?
Okay.
Then you pick a strategy. You've got to pick a strategy that connects those two things together. Now, most
you got to pick a strategy that matches whoever you're talking to, or your ideal avatar, or what's next in your programs or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
all right.
you have one, let's say, that you're doing, but think of a ladder. That's one rung on your ladder, pretty rickety. It can fall over very easily. Now, let's say you've got 2, a little bit more stability, but something strong comes along and it's going to knock you over again. Now, once we have 3, that creates that stability in the business. Those are the rungs to your ladder of success. And what I mean is these are 3 different firework experiences. The good news is you're probably already doing them, but they're not optimized for conversion.
Okay.
So if you want to get better results, this is where the tweaking starts happening. And I'll give a couple examples in a second. But what I mean by these rungs to your ladder is it's not these flash in the pan sparkler approaches where, okay, 1 month you're doing a workshop, the next month you're speaking, the following month you launch a podcast. It's not these one-off things. It's how are these things interconnected? Once someone hears this show today, what's next?
Beautiful. I love it. Oh my gosh, Kat, you are so talking my language. I was telling Kat that I've only entered the online world 6 years ago. I've been very blessed with what I've grown. And I had so much to learn because I have a brick and mortar business. Commercial real estate is just in Vegas. And everything that you're saying is just exactly what we do at Everyday Woman.
Right.
So I love, love, love it. All right.
So here's where it gets tricky, if you will.
Okay.
Most people, like I said, are already doing the strategies. Now, what's wrong is that they're ticking the marketing boxes, meaning they're saying, great, opt-in page, check, email sequence, check. But let's use an example. Ever opt into something you were super excited to get, looked good, you were like, oh my God, this is going to totally solve a problem. And you got it in your inbox and it was a hot piece of garbage.
Okay.
How did you think about that person, right? I mean, so many times, right? How did you think about that person before you got that? And how did you think about them after?
Well, I was very excited. And I've even had it where I did the $7 or $47 thing, the tripwire. And I paid. I'm like, well, this sounds good. And then I get it and I look at it and I go, you're kidding me. That's what they just sold me for $47. Right. And it wasn't me being rude. They literally sent me 5 tips on a PDF and I didn't.
You could have Googled
it. Yeah.
So here you go. That's the key. They didn't think about your experience.
That's fair. That's very fair.
So because they didn't think about it, they cost themselves either the original sale or the next opportunity for a sale.
That's very true.
They're costing themselves so much money and leaving so much on the table because they're not putting this forethought in how someone experiences you. Now, I usually tell a really quick story because this really lands in everybody's third eye, essentially.
Okay, go.
So I remember from my corporate days, people knocking on my door, let's just be real, knocking on my cubicle and being like, where's this report? Or I need this thing, or you need to be in this meeting and all day long, right? Interrupting me, bothering me, asking me for stuff. P.S. If you're an entrepreneur, what do you think that is? But other than sliding in someone's DMs, emailing them all the time and asking them to buy from you. You are interrupting and bothering someone when they're trying to do their work. However, if that person had come to me, that colleague, right, and said, hey, I've got 2 tickets to the Pink concert. Now, if you're watching the video, you can see that I look like her. So let's get on that. So what happens? Oh my God, yes, I want to go to that thing. So that meeting I couldn't reschedule at the end of the day gets rescheduled. That babysitter I couldn't find, I'm going to find her. My car's in the shop, I'm going to take an Uber to the thing. What happens? I go to the experience, I go to the event. I start buying the merch. I start posting on social media. I start telling other people about it. You're thinking about going to the concert. You're not too sure. I'm going to start advocating. At no point in time did someone ask me to do that. I felt compelled because I had such a great experience.
I love it.
So what are we doing as entrepreneurs that's providing that level of value for our community, for our prospects? That's the opportunity. It's not about checking the boxes. It's about making sure the biggest box is checked, which is what is that experience you want someone to have? And here's the biggest thing. When you allow them to have that experience, is it preparing them to become a better buyer?
I love it. So community and experience. Those are the key words that I'm hearing right now. And of course, we started with know your ideal avatar, know what structure, or we'll say, what did you call them, Kat? Strategies. Those were your words. Yes, I love to use your words, but I'm trying to remember so many. What strategy should you be using of sales to that avatar and then build that community? I love, I'm all about community. And then go ahead and make that sale. Oh my gosh, and the experience for me is so important. I have to tell you, we actually call, a lot of times we use the words everyday woman experience or movement. We like the word movement.
You've experienced this on your end too, because you provide such value to your community. What happens? Those people start doing your lead generation for you. They're bringing other people in.
Oh my gosh, it's happening right now, Kat. We're a perfect example of that. And I want you to share with everybody how they can get a hold of you and how they can learn what you actually do to work with them and so on and so forth. But Everyday Woman TV is a perfect example. We went to a networking event locally just 2 days ago for the National Association of Women Business Owners. I sat down next to a woman I didn't know. And I'm introducing myself. She turns to me and she says, I think my friend has a show on your network.
Yep.
And we only started this a few months ago. I mean, excuse me, actually, it's almost been a year. My apologies. It's been a year now. So crazy that it's almost been a year. And so I said, yeah, we know her. And then the next thing you know, we're DMing. She's DMing me about my show, wants to learn about the TV channel, wants to learn about the mastermind. Guys, listen, ladies and gentlemen, whoever is listening, everything that Kat is saying works. We do it every day. That's how we've built a community of 12,000 women in 2.5 years and engaging women. So, Kat, share a little bit about this, the firework experiences, and how you yourself and your company, the Action Incubator, work with people, whatever you do, so we can learn more.
So I'm someone who likes to walk my talk and talk my walk. So what I actually provide people is an opportunity to do and be a part of everything that I've explained today. So I host a monthly podcast mixer. It is complimentary. It's every second Friday of the month at 12 p.m. Eastern. And you can find that at leadbossmixer.com. Now, once you register,
leadbossmixer.com. Okay, I just want to say it for the podcast peeps. Leadbossmixer.com.
And once you register, you get actually access to 2 additional pieces of information. One, how you can start more effectively turning your podcasting efforts into more revenue. So whether you're a host or you're a guest or you do both, these are the hidden, if you will, opportunities that you have to help convert more of those opportunities into high ticket clients. Okay, now, the other thing that you get is access to 6 templates, right? This is swipe copy that you can leverage in terms of following up. How do you stay in touch with people? And so these are 6 different examples that you can leverage to do just that, so that you can go from talking about the weather to whether you should work together. That weather to weather turn of the conversation is where most people get stuck. And this is how you get rid of that sleaze and salesy feeling so that you can start closing more of those high ticket clients again.
I love it. I love it. So you have this podcast, and explain to me Mixer. So when you say Mixer, are you doing it through Zoom? Are you doing it through, what are you doing?
It's a virtual experience. And there are, averaging 50, if not more, people that come on each and every single time. Amazing. And it's really about creating connection. My philosophy there is, if you like someone, you're more likely to support them than if you only know what they do. So this is not about business card stabbing. This is not about pitching. You can find yourself out of that community right away if that's how you come. This is for 6- and 7-figure business owners who are looking to scale and leverage their visibility as a way to reach a higher impact, which means getting in front of more people.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, great. And how can they get a hold of you and find you? Is the leadbossmixer.com the best way?
Leadbossmixer.com is where they can register for the podcast mixer. Otherwise, honestly, it's just, I'm on the internet. I get around. So connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all the things. No, I am not on, all the other ones, if you will, but those are the 3 primary ones.
We all pick our favorite ones, don't we? I'm the same way.
Yep, exactly.
I've gotten asked at speaking events, because at the end on the last screen, I put where I'm at, and I'm pretty much almost everywhere but Twitter. And the only question they had was, the woman raised her hand, why are you not at Twitter? Do you know what I responded with? Because this is just my personality. I said, oh, they're not giving me enough characters. I like to write a lot. Exactly. And everybody laughed, but we all pick what works for us. There is no perfect, social media to be on. And I have to tell you, during COVID, everybody said, get on TikTok. And I did that too. Oh my gosh.
No, I couldn't do it.
I'm doing it. I'm crazy. I'm doing that one too, Kat.
I respect it. I had to take it off my phone because it was a time suck that I just kept going down. I mean, talk about dopamine hits every 15 seconds, being able to flip through the next thing. I get lost for hours. I had to remove it from my phone. Mad respect people who do it, but that's just, again, this is the perfect example of there's no have-tos when it comes to marketing. There
there is not. You find what works for you. Exactly. You find what works for your client. But I'm going to call it future client. You find what works for your future client. You use the strategy, as you said, that works for that person or whatever it is that you might be trying to get them into, because that changes as well. So I love everything you've shared, and I appreciate you coming on just raw and truthful, the way that we love it. Salesy. I mean, sales does not have to be salesy or sleazy.
Mhm.
And you don't have to be that car salesman from the 80s that we watched in the movies. And Kat has this great podcast mixer that you can attend. I love that. So check it out. Looks like she's giving out some great, amazing tools for you. And you can be part of a community and learn so much more about how doing what you love, yes, you can make money at it and you can do well. So Kat, thank you, thank you, thank you. I loved having you on, and I appreciate you coming on and giving so much value, and thank you.
Of course, thank you.
Thanks everyone for watching and listening to another episode of The Successful Woman's Mindset. My name is Galit Ventura-Rozen, and I will see you next time. Bye.